Hi, I'm Raj Sablock, president of Zoho Corp. We'll draw upon my personal experience of nearly 30 years in the high-tech industry with companies of all sizes and our experience here at Zoho. I think you can use a lot of the strategies that I'm going to be talking about to help grow your business. Today we're going to talk about handling negative feedback on social media. As many of you are aware, social media as a platform for conducting business is becoming more and more popular. In fact, most of our businesses should already be on social media platforms like Instagram, like Twitter, and LinkedIn and Facebook. But some things that we need to keep in mind when we're on these platforms is how to handle certain situations. And as I said, today we're going to talk about handling negative feedback. And this is really important. If you're able to handle a situation where a customer is upset and posting about your business or an experience with your business on a social media platform, if you can turn it around effectively, you may actually create an advocate out of that angry customer. On the other hand, if you don't handle it well, it could spiral out of control and turn into a permanent reputation problem for your business. So what I like to do is think about handling negative feedback in terms of a framework. And in this case, I want to talk about a 5-step process within this framework for handling social media feedback. First, we always need to be listening. By that, we need to know that there's millions and millions of people that are online and on social media. And in many cases, they may be talking about you or your business. So it's important that we monitor our brands, our @mentions, as well as our hashtags and branded URLs. Really important. And the good news is there's social media management tools that can help in this process. This is really helpful when you have a multi-location or a global entity company that is taking feedback and interacting with customers around the world. So always be listening. And then the second point in this framework is the idea of being timely. Most studies show that customers expect immediate feedback when they post online, in particular, social media. So we need to be very responsive. In fact, a rule of thumb is get back to customers that are posting on your social media platforms within an hour. Then, number 3, we need to think about how do we handle the situation. In most cases, we're dealing with a customer that is already frustrated. They may have dealt with us in other channels, either tried to call us and expecting a call back, or they received product that was not what they were expecting, some sort of an issue that is not being addressed. And it's important that you show empathy towards this customer. And something that you never want to do is go negative. You don't want to start blaming the customer that it's their problem, their fault. You want to show empathy, and you want to let them know that you're here to take care of their problem. The next point is responding in public. Social media, by nature, is a many-to-many environment. And you have customers and potential customers watching these scenarios play out. So when an angry customer is posting on your platform and on your handle, it's very important to respond in a way that suggests that you're being very transparent and you're very customer-centric. You're trying to help your customer through this situation. That will really pay off in the long run. Now, moving to the 5th point, as I said, you want to be very timely. You want to be listening for when your brand is being mentioned in the social sphere. But at the same time, you want to be cautious about when to engage and when not to engage. There are situations where the post that the angry customer made or any individual made that is mentioning your brand is outside the lines of normal business. And in those cases, whether it's a political statement that the individual is making or something off color, this is a situation where you may, in fact, not respond. And your customers and potential customers will see what's happening and understand why you're not engaging with that individual. So this is a 5-point framework that I think can be very effective in handling tough situations like negative feedback on social media. Something to keep in mind. It's something to put into practice as part of your social media strategy. Hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon.